It's rolling. Yeah, it's rolling. Ain't got it here. What's up, good people? I'm trying to get that extra view, so I'm trying to get it on my phone as well. Hope everybody's doing good on this Sunday morning. Thank you for tuning in live. I really appreciate it. Let me get this going. I'm really just trying to perfect his skills. So for me, it's better to do it in the middle of it instead of trying to do it off stage, trying to learn how to operate things. Yeah, I'm just going to let that go. Uh, so welcome to another episode of the Daddy Everyday show. We're doing this live. I love this format. It gets me super hyped to do it live. Feels like a little extra pressure because it's live because I know people are actually watching right now. Like it's different when I know the only person listening at the moment is my super producer. So, but it's still like kind of like a little bit of an adrenaline rush. But let me get some things out of the way. First thing I want to say is happy birthday to my homie, my little big brother, Roy. Happy birthday, brother. Been hanging out with this dude since like 1996. So he's like one of my longest friends, that I've been staying in contact with kind of thing. So happy birthday to you. I'm still the big bro. I still got you by a couple of months, but happy birthday. I hope you're enjoying yourself, brother. And I'll talk to you soon. Great hanging out with you on Friday night. I'm going to get into details about this podcast meetup that me and Roy went to. What else I want to get out the way? Thank you for everyone that tuned in last week. I really appreciate it. It was amazing to have that interaction with you guys and like me working out the kinks of doing live. Like I don't do live like even like at home. Like I probably did like one Facebook Live as long as they've had lives. I've never done the Instagram Live. So that was quite an experience. So I like that whole day I was just geeked off that. So thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for tuning in now. Really appreciate it. Holler at your friends. Share it on your pages right now to let people know that the Daddy Everyday show is live and in effect. So today I want to go over my weekend, like Friday and Saturday, and you guys are experiencing my Sunday right now with me. Another thing I wanted to mention is that we're going to be doing the show going to evening time. Right now we're looking at Thursdays. You guys will start seeing the flyers. Oh, my God, I'm going to get so much better at giving you guys advance notice, reminding you guys every day. You guys are sharing. So if you guys are watching the show, it means you care. You're trying to support me. I appreciate it. The next step to just watching me is sharing it with other people. If you every time you tune into a live, go ahead and share it on your page, your timeline, then let other people know. So what I want to talk about first is the podcast meetup that I went to on Friday. I got a chance to catch up with Roy. He got things going on. If you've seen some of my professional photos, my man Roy took those photos. Got a brother looking good. I'm like, like even I'm impressed with how I look. And that's all camera work, guys. That's all camera work. Same thing right now. Like this is camera work. It's the lighting. It's the way that Big Lack got the camera set up. That's why I look so good. So I appreciate that. But so we're at this podcast meetup and like all these different professionals. A lot of people don't have podcasts. But the speaker was David Shands, and I've been following this dude since he had a kiosk at Cumberland Mall selling T-shirts. And now he's like the king of podcasts. So it was a really great experience, like getting firsthand. This is my first time actually seeing him live. Like I've seen a lot of his videos and things like that. So it was great seeing him live, and he is as advertised, watching him live and giving out information. And he was like giving information out to people personally, like, and he was challenging us, and I loved it. And it was like making us uncomfortable. And that's what we need a lot of times is to get out that our comfort zone. And a lot of times people look at it as a cliche, getting out your comfort zone, but it's real. It's real. Like me doing this podcast right now, I think we're on like what, episode 27. So we wouldn't even been on episode 1 if it wasn't for my super producer telling me after doing an interview with him, he said, we're doing the podcast next week. And like I've had the ideal of doing a podcast for the longest because I'm a big fan of podcasts. But it was just an ideal in my head. It was one of those things. I don't know if I ever would have moved forward. Like being real, like as much stuff as I've done, workshops and all these other things that I've done, I don't know if I actually would have started the podcast like in this time frame. And now I'm on episode 27. And that was him pushing me out my comfort zone. And what I feared, my first episodes, and you guys heard me mention this before, the first and I think second episode you guys have never seen because they were complete garbage. And I've struggled in the beginning trying to get better. And I think I'm at a better place right now. But where I am now and where I'll be 20 episodes, 30 episodes from now are going to be light years apart. So that's the exciting part is that right now, mind you, not with the audience of the big podcast, it's the perfect time for me to sharpen my skills. So this is the most comfortable I should be right now because if I mess up, I'm still doing the and all that type of stuff. I have time to work that out as my audience starts to grow. So I thank you guys for keeping me encouraged by tuning in and everything. So by you guys tuning in, it's giving me that comfort that first of all, I know that I'm at least putting out something either entertaining enough or informative enough to keep you guys watching. Or at least I'm being a good person enough where you're like, oh, this podcast is garbage, but I support his vision. So any of those reasons why you're tuning in, I appreciate it. So back to the podcast meetup. So during the podcast meetup, one of the things he had us do was to come up what our topic or what our interest is like. So what is your business? That kind of thing. And of course, mine is fatherhood. I'm all about fatherhood. And then like, what is something you know that others don't know about your particular industry? And then he made us record it. So if you guys saw a post of me and I was kind of whispering, I posted it on Facebook and Instagram. So I was kind of whispering. It was because where I was in the middle of the workshop and I was doing it. Had no idea the next step was he was going to ask us to post it. So that's what that video is. So if you hear me kind of whispering a little bit, talking about the myth of work-life balance, that's what that is. So it was amazing, though, because a lot of people didn't record. And he challenged them. He got right up next to him, like had him record something. Then he had him post it right then and there. And the crazy thing is they sounded amazing. The subject matter that they were speaking on, they knew back and forth. So their discomfort wasn't because they lacked the knowledge. Their discomfort was all in their head. They just chose to be scared to do it because we had the opportunity to do it where nobody else was really listening kind of thing, and they didn't do it. So when he challenged them and now we're all watching them do it, they were able to do it, and they did it flawlessly, which means the capability of doing it is there. It's that whatever that is in our heads stop us from doing stuff. Like there's no reason why I couldn't have set up a camera and shot a podcast. There's no reason why I don't go live more often. Like a lot of times, like when I'm doing workshops and things, I should go live either before the workshop or record the whole workshop live. Like, so there's nothing like in the physical form. There's nothing that's going to happen to me if I go live, and I don't have the fear of people not watching. I know I have some core supporters, so that's not my fear. And obviously, I want to grow the podcast. I want to grow everything I do, but I'm really humbled by the few that start because that's how you begin. Nobody starts off with, shooting an episode or something and 100,000 people watch right off the rip. I mean, unless you already have that celebrity. But you start from one person watching 2, 3, and then 6, and then 12, and then 24, then 48. You saw I did that math. That's how you grow. So, like, I'm growing. Every episode I shoot, I'm getting more followers. So I thank you guys for that and continue to share. I'm going to say that till you guys get tired of me saying it, is to share. We can't grow. And when I say we, that means all of us that are starting off small, who have dreams of being big. We cannot get big without the people who are following us and supporting us, sharing it. Like, you guys can introduce me to people I would have probably never reached. So I will always stress sharing. And that goes not just for me, that goes for anybody that you have interest in or that you support. It's the same as when Megan Stallion posts something. And when you share it, when you like it, like, that's how she gets more. Like, there's some people checking for her, but there are people who, like, I've seen posts from Megan. I don't even follow her, but I've seen posts from her because of my friends sharing it and things like that. So that's how we grow. Like, so if you have any friends out there that are in any industry, whether they cook, they sing, or anything, by you sharing, you're the one that's going to help them reach new plateaus. It's like as simple as that. You never know, your share could open up opportunity for them. So you guys are going to hear me say that some more, so I'm not even going to apologize for that anymore. But more with the networking. I suck at networking. So this event wasn't so much for me to mingle around with the crowd to get to know people, but afterwards I saw opportunities missed. One of the opportunities missed is I got these great business cards that I made, and the only person I actually gave it to was Roy. So I had the chance to, meet David one-on-one, shook his hand, and all I really wanted to say to him was thank you for the information he's given over the years. I went ahead and locked down tickets for the podcast summit that he has coming out in July. So I'm excited about that. I'm going to try to, between now and then, I'm going to get my networking skills up. For matter of fact, I got 2 networking events coming up that I'm going to go to. I'm going to work the room. I'm probably going to watch some videos on networking before, so I can really utilize those opportunities to meet new people. But the opportunity that I had that I missed, but I may have a chance to correct, is I was wearing one of my Daddy Everyday hoodies, and I'm sitting there with him, and we shake hands, take the photo, and he says he got to have one of these hoodies. I asked him his size, so I'm going to get that to him, but that was my opportunity to give him a business card so he can follow up with me. That kind of connection so I can stay, in his mind, because who knows, one day I may be on one of his podcasts, or I may have him on a podcast because he's a dad and he's an entrepreneur, so he's like one of the perfect examples of a guest that I want to have, someone who has a busy work schedule, but he has a balanced fatherhood as well. So he can give his advice and things he do as far as trying to navigate, the two, because both requires a lot of time and patience and care. So, yeah, but back to the individuals that were there. So many of them know exactly what they want to do, and the only thing that literally stopping them is the thought in their head. And most of them can't even explain what was the fear. Like, they don't know. It's just something there is stopping them. And I think that's the difference between the people we follow, the superstars and things like that. You think of anybody in any industry, not just celebrity type, but like the number one guy in finance and all these different type things, is their ability to block out whatever is stopping them, like going forward, not overthinking, because that's another killer right there. You can only think so much on something. Eventually, you need the action. And the overthinking, sometimes we get secure with overthinking because we're thinking we're mapping everything out, but you're not doing anything. Like, overthinking doesn't accomplish anything. It's like having good intentions without the actual action part of it. It's like thinking about helping somebody. That didn't help anybody. Like, just the thought of it, maybe you pat yourself on the back because you thought of doing something, but until you do something, you're not really doing anything. So it's like one of those things when people say, oh, I was going to buy your book. Why didn't you? Like, you saying you was going to do something doesn't help me. It is simple as that. If you say your book is not for me, but I shared it, now that's helping. That's action. So not just I want you to take that action as far as supporting me, but supporting yourself. There are people who've been talking about going back to school for years, and they can come up with 1,000 excuses. But all the excuses you have, there's somebody who's in school right now with those same excuses and making it happen. You just have to make it happen. You can plan out ways. It's not going to be perfect. So you just have to take the step. There's somebody right now who's watching this podcast that either wants to start a podcast or think, oh, man, if he can do a podcast, I can. I challenge you to do it. I want you to do the podcast, and I want you to be better than I am. Hell, I'll even give you tips if you need, things to do and things not to do. But just thinking you want to do something is not going to accomplish anything. I challenge you today, to whether it's going back to school, look up that school that you want to go to. I mean, just look up the schools you want to go to, the subject matter you want to major in. Just look it up. Just take those steps, because what happened is that's that whole momentum thing. Like once you get going, you get going. It's like exercising. If you get on the floor and like if I challenge you to do one push-up, you'll get down there and you can do one push-up and you can realize I can do two. And then, well, hell, if I'm already down here, I might well do three. Well, I got a little bit more in me, I might well do four. You will keep going. But the biggest part is actually getting on the floor to do the push-up. It's not the push-up itself that's the toughest. It's the actual act of getting down there and starting. And I challenge you guys to start something. If you want to start like you cook, like, you barbecue like nobody else. Like I see at those gas stations, cats selling plates and things like that. If that's how you have to start, then start there. But it's all about starting, like just thinking it, and people telling you, girl, you can sing, but you're not like really utilizing that talent and you want to, go to an open mic. I mean, like everything that you want to do, especially in this time, is easily available for you to do. I challenge you to do it. You don't even have to go to an open mic. You can even just set your camera up and sing in front of your camera. Sing live on Facebook or Instagram. Sing live on YouTube. Like you can go on YouTube and just go ahead and sing live. If you can get down in the kitchen and you want to cook and show people how to cook, just go live on YouTube. Like this is a crazy time that we live in. And I mean that in a good way, because I remember 20 years ago, back in my music industry days, the way that we had to go about things was way more difficult. Like if you were doing a show, you had to do flyers. That's how you let people know. Beginning days of like MySpace and stuff, you could probably try to use, but it's nothing like it is now. Hell, you can throw on a full concert. Hell, Evan Vision does it all the time, like concerts live on YouTube. It's amazing of the things that we can do right now. So the excuses are out. It's all about us getting comfortable and just doing the work. But that's what I want to talk about as far as going to the podcast meetup and me getting better at my networking skills. And I think the part of the problem is I'm not sure what I want from people, and then I'm not sure what can I offer people. So like that's kind of like the issue I have a little bit. It's like, and I know I'm valuable, and I have to keep telling myself that because I would doubt myself. And I know I'm valuable because it's been proven. I've had the testimonies. So I have the confirmation that what I'm doing is necessary and valuable. Because like even when at the podcasting event, David asked what industry I'm in, and I said fatherhood, and the reaction on everybody's face is like, yes, that's needed. So it's like I'm not creating something that's not already needed. Like there's a need for it. And I'm not in competition with anyone. I'm trying to work with other fatherhood organizations because I think that we are going to be the ones to solve the issues in our community. I would love to get into not actually me being in the politics, but partnering with politicians and things like that. But it starts with us. It starts with us making a change. It starts with you making a change in your own life. So I challenge you today, whatever it is that you want to get into, is just to look it up. We Google everything else. I challenge you to Google what it is that you want to get into and take that first step. That's all I'm asking. And let the Spirit move you after that. All right, so that was my Friday night. So that had me excited and pumped up. So also that Friday night, I also thought Saturday morning I was doing the cold water therapy plunge again. And I told you guys about that, going out going out into the freezing water for like 5 minutes. But this time I actually did it and I record my whole experience. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to share it, but only to a limited few people. So like everyone that comments, I'll send you a personal link to see the video. I got to put it up. There's a way to do it on YouTube where it's not to the public. I think you just share the link, something like that. So you guys will get your own personal link and see the full video of me doing a cold water plunge. I'm going to let you know I cursed several times in it, so just be ready for that. So I wouldn't watch it in front of your kids. But it was quite the experience. But the water part is just part of, that's the personal challenge for me. So like if I can do that and I didn't have to, just think about the things that I can overcome in my mind that I want to do, that I need to do. So that's the reason for the doing a cold water plunge for me. And then the fellowship, like afterwards, we're talking about subject matters about our community, like what's going on in these schools, in these middle schools in particular. It is wow. Like Kendrick is in his 12th grade year, and it's so crazy. Even at his school, he goes to an amazing school, but all schools have their own issues with students. And excuse me. And I remember him telling me, and this is how desensitized he is to the craziness at school. I pull up to his school to pick him up, and there's one of the news stations there interviewing people, and I'm like, dang, what's going on? He was like, I don't know. And he said, oh, it's probably had to do with all them fights in the 9th grade hall. It was like after he didn't even think, oh, that's what it had to be, or he didn't even get in the car and like, hey, this is what's going on. But he sees that craziness and he's like numb to it. But it's serious. Like the other day, a kid was shot and at a party, and he wasn't even the target. 16-year-old kid. Like that school is traumatized, and the kid who did it is a high school kid from another high school. And it's like, what is going on with our youth right now? Now, we had issues growing up as well. Shootings were far in between. Ours were more like just fights. Like when I grew up, it was fights. Like cats just fought all the time, that kind of thing. And now kids are like killing each other and like just throwing their lives away, ending one life and throwing their own lives away. And it's always over nothing. So like there's some nonprofits that are getting together, men organizations that are getting together so we can get in these schools. And I'm happy to join in on that. So we can get in school and see what we can do to help. But it's going to take parent involvement as well. Like a lot of times we blame schools. I rarely will blame schools for things. I blame the parents because we know what kind of kids we have and that we're sending, and we're not following up on our kids. It's the ones that, and I can tell you, the kids that are the least disciplined are the ones who parents are not connected with the school. And I know we're all busy and all that type of stuff, but when it comes to my boys in school, that's going to come first. If I had to move some things around with work to go up to school, will do. But like with technology, it's not, I mean, on your lunch break, you can Zoom call the teacher. So like, I don't deal with that parent excuse when it comes to your kids at school, especially if you know what kind of kids you have. Like, we need to stay on top of our kids, follow up with our kids, engage with our kids. So those are the type of things we were talking about. So shout out to Accountability Brother for another outing. We got more events that are going to be coming up. That's going to include bowling and a men's breakfast and things like that. So I'm really excited about that. So for those that aren't into the hiking and cold water plunges, I got you. Told the guys for Accountability Brothers, so they're coming up with things to open up so that more brothers come out and just share your truths and stuff. Like I was able to get some stuff off my chest that I won't even share live, but I was able to share with the brothers and, just talk some things out. And I was able to do that in a environment where I didn't feel judged. And that's exactly what the Daddy Everyday Center is going to be. Like I want to have a safe space where men, fathers can feel empowered, feel engaged, feel heard, get the assistance that they need. So I'm like Accountability Brothers is just an amazing organization. And that's exactly the type of things I want to do with Daddy Everyday Center. So I'm excited about that. All right, some other things I want to talk about. I want just briefly, like I rarely do social media stuff, like as far as like just truly commenting on it. One thing that got my attention is NBA YoungBoy. Can't say I really listen. Like I can't and this is not a shot at today's music, so don't take it that way. But like if I heard him, I probably wouldn't necessarily know that's his song or whatever. I understand he's hot. That's great. But I also understand he has a lot of kids. And I'm not going to judge him on this comment. I just want to understand the psyche. Because he was asked about what's his thoughts on fatherhood. And he's like, he doesn't really, participate in that. That's paraphrasing. But it's like, I don't want to bash him. I wish I can talk to him. Because I would love to understand the psyche of that. Like, why you wouldn't. First of all, why would you be making these kids if you have no desire to be a father to them? But what's that psyche like for him to be able to do that and just live life? Like, I don't understand it. And I'm not even talking, I'm pretty sure he's well off enough that he can support them. So it's not that part. It's that wanting to be connected. Like, my mind cannot even imagine that. Like, I cannot think about just disregarding my boys. Like I can envision fighting a bear, like how I would fight a bear. I can envision how I can run from rooftop to rooftop. My imagination can do that. I can do that. But my imagination won't allow me to think how I can disregard my boys. So I would love to interview a dad like that to see what that psyche is. Not to bash him, to trash him, but try to understand, like, where does that come from? Because, like, I know a lot of times people say, well, I was raised like this and all that type stuff. But as adults and as parents, we get to be parents the way we want to be parents. Like my dad, and I love him, rest in peace, he never threw me a football. He never played video games with me. He pretty much just held the house down financially, and that was his biggest thing, But that didn't stop me from doing that with my boys. Like, my dad's never come up to my school. Like, he never came up to school, but I go up to the school as often as I need to for my boys. So you parent the way you want to parent. It's not always based on your example or you didn't have a good role model, that type thing. When you become a parent, it's your time to parent the way that either you want it to be parent or the way your kid needs to be parent. Because I know, like, the way I grew up was probably necessary to keep me out of trouble or my siblings out of trouble, that kind of thing. That's not necessary with the way for my boys. So, like, I couldn't parent the same way like my mom and my dad did. Like, my boys love that quality time kind of thing. I didn't have quality time with my folks. We rarely did things. Like, for a matter of fact, I'll tell you guys, one of my biggest and fondest memories, I'm not even sure is real. Like, I don't know if I shared this with you guys, but I'm almost scared to ask my sister, my brother, if it's real. But my fondest memory is me and my folks, my younger sister, my younger brother, mom and dad, catching the bus to go to the mall to go back to school shopping. And, that's always an exciting time, going back to school shopping. And then going to the Wendy's in the mall shout out to Columbus Square Mall, rest in peace. Um, but grabbing, getting food from Wendy's and laughing and all that type stuff, and then catching the bus back home. I'm not really sure if that memory is real. Like I said, I'm scared to ask my brother and my sister because I'm scared they'll say that didn't happen. But that's a quality time that I enjoy, and I don't know if it's real. But that's the type of things I do with my boys all the time. Like, I love it when my boys, like, my boys have been to New York and Vegas. I mean, they've done all these trips, been on planes. Like, Kendrick rode first class when he was 6 years old. So asking the flight attendant for apple juice every time she passed by because he could get it. I didn't experience that till like I was in my 20s. So like they've done amazing things, but the things that they'll bring up and reminisce on is like, hey, you remember that time we went to Taco Bell and we ate outside and I tried those nacho fries for the first time? Like that's the things that they enjoy. So it's those quality moments that parents miss out on because they think it has to be over the top. It's that quality time. It's that Madden time. It's that when me and my boys walk to go grab something to eat as much as Dylan hates doing the walking part. But that's the stuff that they remember. So that's the things that I want to encourage other fathers to do and parents in general. So that goes right back to the whole daddy everyday thing. So, but like I said, NBA young boy, if anybody knows him, I would love to interview him on that subject matter. One of the last things I want to say is, and I said this before, but it's going to be, I need you guys to share my shit. Like, seriously, like everything that I do, I need you guys to share. You guys are my supporters. I am trying to take this to the next level. I will take it to the next level. There's no doubt about that. I have sending out some press releases today. I have meeting up with a couple of nonprofits that I desire to have partnerships with. I forgot my notebook, but I have a couple of other things that I'm doing this week. I even took a couple of days off from work so that I can really deep dive into it. So I am about to take this to the next level. I'm sending out some sponsorship letters to get some of these Daddy Everyday workshops and events sponsored. So I am going to the next level with this, and I just need you guys' support as far as just putting the word out there for me. I think that's it. I think I've done about 30 minutes. I didn't want to hold you guys as long as last time because, I get to rambling, and I can't help it. That's just how I talk. So for those that had conversations with me before, that's just how I do. I would love to do another Q&A one day where you guys put your comments, or your questions in the comments, and then, we do it like that. So, wow, I see you guys are in there. My sister chimed in and said the memory was real. That I'm telling you guys don't realize how nervous I've been about asking, because like part of me wanted to ask, but I really didn't because it is my favorite childhood memory. It's my favorite childhood memory. Now, one of my least favorite, and me and my sister were talking about the other day, and I know my big brother remember, is when he was like eating up all the cereal, but that's a family thing. But that was awesome. So, I thank you guys for tuning in. But yeah, so thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate you. Flyers will go out this week. I'll send online, and some of you guys I'll text it. As far as going live on Thursday, 6 o'clock, that's what we're shooting for. So I'll definitely let you guys know about that. Thank you guys for tuning in again. I appreciate you guys. This is the Daddy Everyday Show. Don't forget to go to daddyeveryday.org. Still doing a fundraiser for the community center. Thank you for guys who's sending funds through the GoFundMe. Thank you for those that have sent CashApp, who have Zelled me. Thank you for all of that. I have some more Fresh Start for Dad books going out to another organization, so we can get these books in prisons to assist these fathers, because a lot of them are coming out and they are lost on what to do as far as getting themselves together, reconnecting with their children and family. So I need to get these books into prison so they can get geared up before they even get out, and they can have a plan, and then they can get that plan started while they're in prison so they can get rolling as soon as they hit the streets again. So I thank you guys again for tuning in. If you have any questions, DM me, put it in the comments, text me, and I'll be glad to answer them, maybe even answer them on the next live. Thank you guys so much. Have a great rest of your Sunday. Be productive. Remember, I challenged you, whatever it is that you've been wanting to do, start doing the legwork on it. As simple as a Google search. That's all I'm asking. Just Google search whatever it is that you want to get started on and just make it happen. All right, guys. Thank you. Talk to you guys soon.